to episode 360 of the All You Can Hear podcast. I am one of your concrete eating co-hosts. I'm Wenzel. I eat concrete. And joining me today is my other co-host,
Checker Master Cold, professional checker player, chess master checking.
Yeah, world champion checker master here. We got concrete eater me, and then we got checker master Colt. Pretty crazy co-host or host lineup for this week's episode, I should say myself. And I'm one of those hosts.
We get to the start, and I gotta say, at Sidewalk, Winslow and I, we missed the secret feature because we were too late to the line. And we decided to just sit there in the area to wait for the next movie. And when we did so, we found some checkers, a chess set, and we attempted to play. But Winslow failed to realize neither of us know how to play either game, chess or checkers. And we just ended up playing checkers, and neither of us even knew what the fuck we were doing. We managed to fuck up and have a stalemate after playing for like 45 minutes. It was a rough time, and we posted it live on the Instagram, and we're like, damn, it was a good battle. And we didn't realize it until after we had played.
Yeah, it was it was a good time killer. Yeah, we just wanted to come on here and publicly apologize for not knowing how to play checkers, but hey, cancel us, you know?
Yeah, go ahead and cancel me. I can't play checkers.
Go ahead. Go ahead. We're both idiots. Cancel us. No, it was so funny because we even had a fucking board that told us the rules. And reading it, I looked at it. I was like, this is not how I played it growing up. And Colt said the same thing, but that's because there was a bunch of there was different styles of checkers you can play. I don't remember their names, but there was like different styles, and then the way it described it, I don't know, I got confused. So I was like, I don't know. I guess I played checkers wrong, and then we ended up playing checkers wrong. So yeah, but like I said, it was a good time killer. It was fun. Yeah, so if you couldn't tell from the episode title, we went to Sidewalk again this year. So last year, it was me and Tanner. This year, it's me and Colt. And if you don't know, Sidewalk is a local film festival held in Birmingham, Alabama. And they not only do they premiere or show films, they also have they'll have workshops involving the process of filmmaking, going over that. They'll have special segments. They'll even have live performances. Yeah, they have just a bunch of fun events along with showing films at this festival. This is their 26th year, so we're the same age. It started in 1998, and yeah, it was again, this is my second year, so it was a good time for me. But I guess we can go right into Colt's experience here. What do you think of the whole thing, Colt?
I thought it was pretty fucking awesome. It feels like when it first started, it felt like, God damn, this is going to be a long weekend. But as it went by, I was like, fuck, this was too short of a weekend. I wanted to watch everything, but the way it's set up, you can't watch everything. You've got to make choices. You've got to cut off the limb so you can save the rest. But I really, really enjoyed my time there. I want to say thank you to Sidewalk for having us out there, giving us our passes, because, oh, my Lord, that was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed my time. I want to come back again and again, as long as y'all are having it. And if you want to help us out, we'd love to come back, because this was awesome. This is my first film festival, period. And it was a very good first impression.
Well, I'm definitely glad. But yes, thank you, Sidewalk. Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate it so much. Thank you so much, Sidewalk. Thank you. We're so freaking happy to be there. We're so freaking happy for you guys to allow us to be there. We just can't be any more thankful. And yeah, we hope to return next year. Also, too, whenever we went to go pick up our passes, they always give us, or they gave us last year and they give us this year, free bag to carry around, and then they give you the schedule of the weekend, including like stuff about the films and everything. It's really neat. It's really fun, and they give free stuff like all throughout the weekend. I said this on our Instagram stories, which, by the way, we have a bunch of stories from the weekend as well. So if you go to our Instagram account at AYCH podcast, if you go to our highlights, there should be a Sidewalk 2024 highlight. If you go there, you can see just a fraction of our experience and some of the shenanigans we got up to while we were there.
Yeah, and also if you've never seen us, we're on there. I don't post stuff about myself. I don't take selfies. I don't just take pictures of anything really. So that's the first time you'll ever really see me.
Enjoy it. It's like capturing cryptid.
Oh yeah, it was. I even got a lucky selfie with the Twilight Gang, and like right after that selfie, we went and saw a movie. Came back, they were gone. I don't know where the fuck the Twilight Gang went.
I have no idea. You know, the thing is the Twilight Gang he's talking about is Bella, Edward, and Jacob. They were out last year, and Tanner also took a picture with them, by the way. And so I think it's funny that we kept that tradition, but they're out all weekend. So I don't know where they went. I hope they didn't put them up forever. I just love the idea of people going up and taking pictures always with the Twilight Gang. But yeah, no, so definitely go look at that. But not every single movie, but a lot of the movies, they give out like free stuff. It can either be something that has to do with the film, or it could be like something directly like promotionally from the film. I don't know exactly. I remember last year we got stuff like that, but we always get something that has to do with the film, and it's always fun. Just little trinkets or little goodies that you can take home with you. As Colt said, and as I have said, I think it was a good time for both of us too. And like really, like as soon as you set up your schedule, like I mean, you're going from film to film to film. It moves quick. Like since every film was like anywhere from like if you're doing full features, like anywhere from like an hour 30 to 2 hours. I mean, it's just moving. And I know for some people, I mean, I know for us at the end of the weekend we were tired, but for the most part, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you have almost zero downtime. The only time we had downtime was when we missed a movie, or they ran out of room, and the other day on Sunday we had to choose to not watch a movie to eat dinner. Basically, you've got to make your own plan when you go into this. You can't just be like, all right, I guess we'll go to this. I guess we'll go to that. Why not? Give us 5 minutes. We'll go there right as the time starts, and they'll let us in. You can't do that. You got to be there early to every place you got to go, because if not, you might not have a seat.
Yeah, it does suck. I will say too, whenever we missed the secret screening, so there was 2 secret screenings, A and B. They're the same amount of time because they're the same film. Also super secret. They couldn't tell anybody what it was because its official premiere isn't at Sidewalk, so that's why it was secret. So we don't know what it was, but that's all right. And we got there like 30 minutes early. Like it was 30 minutes until the second showing, because the first showing, I think it was B, it got full. And so we were like, it wasn't too long after that. It was like I said, 30 minutes before this showing, we got up to go line up, and the line was already from the Sidewalk Cinema itself all the way to the door of the Pizitz. The Pizitz is the building that the Sidewalk Cinema is in, the Pizitz Food Hall. That's also where we got all of our lunch and dinner from, by the way. It was all incredible. And by the time we got up to the door, I mean, they already started, or they had told us that they can't take any more in. It was completely full. So, oh well. And then, like Colt said, the second day, we intentionally left that slot towards the end of the day open because we didn't know if we wanted to watch the closing night film or if we wanted to watch one of the encore screenings. We did know we wanted to eat dinner, so we were like, okay, well, we'll have time to eat dinner, and then we'll see what we want to do after we eat dinner. And then we decided we wanted to see one of the encore screenings because it got the encore screening because it sold out the first time. So now the second time we were both like, okay, well, we got to see it. So yeah. But yeah, I guess what we'll do is or I guess the purpose of this is not only to talk about Sidewalk, but to also talk about the films we saw going from opening night, day 2, and then day 3. We'll talk about them. This isn't our usual like film reviews where we spend the entire time talking about the film. Obviously, we can only spend a certain amount of time for each film, but hopefully this will give you an idea of a quick idea of our thoughts and opinions on these films. Yeah.
Yeah, we watched 9 films at multiple theaters. I will say that every single location that we went to was unique and just a very interesting experience going to different kinds of theaters. The Alabama theater is gorgeous. I remember going there one time in elementary school. This is like the first time in 18 years since I've been to that theater. And then we got the what is the other one? I can't remember.
Lyric?
Lyric. I was going to say Circlet. Lyric Theater. Very, very beautiful theater as well. I love the art and the I can't remember the term. The workings all around this theater look beautiful, and just the fact that it has like multiple floors. I've never like paid attention to the details when I was a kid, so it was fun to see it in the Alabama theater and this one as well.
Are you talking about the reliefs on the wall?
Yeah, the reliefs and like there's like actual carvings. There's like a lion baby.
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, no. Yeah, it's coming back because I only ever go to these theaters because Sidewalk. So coming back and being inside the Lyric and the Alabama theater is it's so nice. I love it. It's really like so unique and comforting. Yeah, no. And then also too doing this, we actually went to a new 2 new theaters that I did not go to last Sidewalk. It was at the Alabama School for Fine Arts. We went to the Black Box Theater and their DJD Theater. Very the DJD Theater is very nice. The Black Box Theater is tiny.
Yeah, the DJD Theater was absolutely gorgeous. I want all theaters to be like that, but with the AMC recliner chairs. It was so nice.
The Black Box Theater reminds me of a certain room, if Colt remembers, that we had at
the middle school where we'd play gym.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So okay, so this is funny. Whenever our gym class in middle school, we would whenever we couldn't use the gymnasium
or go outside,
it was just kind of
it's
like
raining,
or go outside, and it was just kind of like a slow day or a low day or something. The coaches were like, let's just go to they called it the Commons. Let's just go to the Commons. Everybody just sit down, just chill out. We'll put something on the TV or something or whatever, and then we would just sit there.
You can say what it was. It was either Radio or The Blind Side. We could only watch those 2 movies for the 3 years we were there.
I didn't say them because I completely forgot about them. That's
I couldn't forget because I've seen every single one of those movies probably 10 times thanks to middle school. Every single one. It's every time movies, we went, but still.
Every time we went into the Commons, I usually we were talking to our friends or if we were watching a movie, I just kind of tuned it out. So that's probably why I don't remember as much as you.
I remember watching people play Angry Birds. I am a true film nerd. Sandra Bullock, beautiful performance. The power of a white woman is scary. And then Radio, I don't know how well that's aged. I'll say that. But yeah, I remember people playing Angry Birds and watching them for like hours. That was my favorite part.
Everybody, the other kids would sneakily have their phones, or I know 2 kids who would bring their laptops and they would play stuff on those as well. Just watch people. Yeah, because it's illegal to have your phone in school. I don't know if anybody really knows that.
Yeah, as a kid, I always like thought it was horrifying to have my phone because I'm like, fuck, if they see this on me, I'm gonna get fucking locked up. They're gonna put me in jail. They're
No.
gonna shoot me.
No, no, I don't necessarily. Well, the thing is with the phones, they would take them away, and I don't know if did they ever give them back if they took them from somebody. I don't know
Only
if they
if the
did.
parents came up to the school and got it themselves.
Oh yeah, so that was always kind of bullshit. No, I don't know how school is now. But I know for us growing up, there was obviously there's still rules today, but for us, like for the longest time, you had to have your shirts tucked in. Then they finally did away with that rule, but like the biggest rule still was you can't have your phone out. If you have your phone out, it will be taken away, and either your parents can come and get it, or if they don't get it, then too bad. Any sort of electronics like laptops or anything, any electronic that you brought to school and you had it out, and then a teacher or faculty saw it, taken away immediately. And if a parent didn't come get it or something, it was lost forever. Like you couldn't have it back, which is kind of fucked up. um but yeah, sorry, we're talking so much about the past. Anyway, yeah, so the theaters were really nice. Yeah, I guess let's just go into the opening night film unless you had any other thoughts.
One thought, Jesus Christ. I don't know. That's all my thoughts.
So yeah, opening night film was Exhibiting Forgiveness, directed by Titus Kaphar. The cast list includes Birmingham native, actually, Andre Holland as Terrell, Andra Day as Aisha, John Earl Jelks as LaRon, and Ingenue Ellis Taylor as Joyce. Those are really our main stars here. I'm not going to go over everybody, but yeah, those are our main stars. And I'm just going to read off the letterbox synopsis. Utilizing his paintings to find freedom from his past, a black artist on the path to success is derailed by an unexpected visit from his estranged father, a recovering addict desperate to reconcile. Together, they learn that forgetting might be a greater challenge than forgiving. Yeah, and then those who don't know too, Titus Kaphar is a world-renowned artist whose works are actually in MoMA, or they're including collections at the MoMA, the Whitney, and the Met. Yeah, dude's awesome. He's incredible.
Extremely talented. Every single artwork that was painted for this movie is just beautiful. I was thinking the whole time, like, damn, these are really good art pieces. I wonder who painted them, and the director fucking painted them, every single one of them.
Yeah, no, it was crazy seeing these actual paintings. And then also too, like it was revealed that like they had to teach Holland to actually paint a little, and I think that's so fun. Yeah, and we saw this at the Alabama Theater. So,
oh yeah,
like that they always have their opening night film at the Alabama Theater. I think that's what they did last year. So, yeah, what do we think? This is this is definitely a full feature directorial debut from Kaphar.
I really though, it's an A+ movie right here. Great work, especially since like Titus Kaphar. This is his first feature length film. First he's directed. It's wild how many very well-known actors and actresses he's got in this movie, because like once you click on the letterbox for this, you like click on each actor, actress, and you just see like their filmography, and you're like, holy shit, it's crazy that he got a hold of these people to act for him for his first movie. It was just very, very well done. And that place was fucking packed. That was another thing. Like opening night, it makes sense. It's the opening night movie. Holy shit, it was packed.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there was also a Q&A with Kaphar and Holland that was really awesome, and Kaphar even admits, he was like, no director doing this for the first time should have access to this much talent right off the bat. And I mean, it's crazy too. Andre Holland looks so familiar, and the entire time I'm thinking, where have I seen him before in a film? I had no idea he was from Birmingham. That's freaking awesome. But he plays Kevin in Moonlight, directed by Barry Jenkins, 2016, A24. If you haven't seen Moonlight, go watch it. It is incredible. But he plays the alongside our protagonist here in that film, and God,
He also plays the father of the girl in Bones and All.
Bones and All too. I was like, holy shit, dude. And he's the lead in here, and he was phenomenal. He was awesome. I mean, this, like Colt said, this film was great. It was brutal too. It's
yeah, first 3 movies we watched, first four, absolutely destructive, in a way that, like, man, I was a little sad. And it probably also helped contribute to the just being tired by the end of the weekend.
Yeah, we'll get into that part a little later, but emotionally just hard, because this is confronting trauma, and especially abusive parents, and also to him being him playing a painter, an artist, and using that. Oh God, it was brutal. These scenes in here, the conversations between him and his father, and then also too finding out that this is partially based on the actual experience of the director, like of him, like because he obviously, it's our lead character here, Terrell, is a painter and Kafar is a painter, and it's based on his actual experience of trying to reconcile with his father. No, it's just absolutely brutal. And I love too how he states, I can't remember if he states this at the Q&A or beforehand, but he states that this film isn't meant to say like, oh, you need to forgive your parents, you need to talk to them, reconcile with them, have like no. He made sure to state that this isn't that. This is what he wanted to do. This is his choice, and this is what he needed to do for himself. This is a means. This isn't meant to put victims in harm's way. I can't remember exactly what he says, but it was very well articulated, and that's why I love too both them on stage at the Q&A and beforehand. Everything was well articulated, well spoken. It was so good. These guys rock. I think this was an incredible way of confronting your parents, dealing with trauma, and learning to understand them with nuance. While he doesn't necessarily think his father was right for what he did, he understands that he was trying to help him, but in a way that was not, in a way that was toxic, in a way that was harmful, that was abusive. And he says that he said that he is right and he is wrong. And
yeah, now he was saying like he's thankful. In a way, he's like, it's weird because he's thankful for what his father's done for him, because without that, he wouldn't be there on the stage that day.
Because in the film, we have John Earl Jelks do this performance where he says that he was trying to teach him to work, basically just to work. And without that drive, he wouldn't be able to work as hard as he did with his art, to be a successful artist as he is. So while he's thankful for that, he even says that he has 2 kids. He will not do that or treat them that way, because there is a better way to do things. And he's right. Like, I get that. I completely understand that. So I really thought this was fantastic. And it definitely hits close to home, I know, for a lot of people, like with past generation of parents, Yeah. And like I said, the Q&A was awesome. There were some very tough questions that were asked. Also, I will say that
my favorite question was one I did not like. It was the one that says like, so how's the relationship with your father now? Like, just let's he doesn't say like, let's talk about it. He just asks, how's the relationship with your father now after this kind of thing? And he just straight up says, I'm not going to go into that in front of a room with this many people. I thought that was a great way to handle it. But at the same time, why the fuck would you ask that? That's such a personal question.
Yeah. No,
if he wanted you to know, I feel like he'd put it in the movie.
like already the movie is kind of saying a lot.
Not great, bud.
Like and so no, asking that, I do think he wasn't rude. He was setting boundaries. He's like, I'm not going to air out my father's business in front of this many people, and that's valid and respectable. That's yeah. There was one question that was so weird. Sorry, we probably, I mean, obviously we're not giving out names, or these were anonymous,
Yeah, I don't know any of
but
these people.
we don't know any of these people, but there was one question that was so weird, and I love it because Holland and Kafar both say we cannot answer that question. We don't know how to answer that question. I'm sorry, but we don't know what to tell you, because the guy asked, he was like, and I'm kind of abridging here because I don't remember it fully, but he was basically like, what does it like how when it comes to being a man, what do you leave in and what do you leave out? Because as I'm getting, or as being a young person or growing up now, I'm having trouble with that now. And it's just like, I what do you mean? what is being a
He
man?
was talking about the past, like what do you leave from your past in your life as you get older to, I guess, like form you. It's still a weird question, but at the same time, like it's just being part of being a human. Being a man does not fucking matter. Your gender does not play a role into like trauma that you bring into your life as an adult.
Well, the thing is, from my perspective, I thought he was trying to imply like, because like with toxic masculinity, there's this whole thing of like, oh, you need to grow up, you need to be a man, you need to work, you need to do this and do that. Like this is what being a man means. And I thought maybe that's what he was trying to imply, like what from that is allowed, I guess, if you want to say it like that. And like again, it's a weird question. Like you said, like I don't be an asshole. Like what is being a man like that? There's still this, it's still charged or still connected to the idea that there's this binary, that there is a hard line between what is being a man and what is being a woman. And it's not necessarily a hard line. And there are certain things when it comes to masculinity and femininity, but there is also levels to, or too high levels to, toxic, where, especially coming from, I mean, if this guy is in our age range, with our parents and stuff, that they still carry from that generation, and I think maybe that's what he was trying to address, especially with the film showing like, oh, you need to work, you need to be tough, not like this whole idea of like, not showing emotion, not showing that you're in pain, not willing to open up, blah, like this and that of like, and I thought that's what he was trying to imply with that question, and that's why I think that's like that's a weird question. Because I mean, there's just no really hard line, there's stuff you need to do and stuff you don't need to do. So yeah, and I mean, and again, they handled it very well. They just said we can't answer that question. We just
Yeah,
can't.
that wasn't the only question that like he when taking questions he was like, damn, these are not the easiest questions, huh? Because people were throwing out like questions that you'd get asked or ask yourself during like therapy. It was like, fuck. All right, guys. Any questions about the film?
No, it was yeah, it was tough. But no, it was still a great time.
So I guess what did we like? I guess give it on the letterbox score.
I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
I too gave it 4.5 out of 5. It was a
Oh,
great film.
also too, I one thing I did love too was the aspect of art, and not only using it as a means to kind of explore um forgiveness and trauma, but also too whenever towards the end when and a buyer sponsor wants to buy his art, and he just can't focus, and again, like people not understanding boundaries is like touching this guy, like trying to take a picture with him, and he gets upset like noticeably, And they're like, oh, well, I bought your art, you can't treat me like this, blah blah blah. And it's just like that thing, like, this is something I know probably a lot of artists, or maybe those don't know, but it's just like, just because you buy art, just because you're a sponsor or whatever, does not mean you own the artists and you can just do whatever. Like, yeah, obviously you're giving artists money, and like, we appreciate that, but that does not mean you get to cross boundaries. That does not mean you get to be disrespectful. And that just that, you don't determine what an artist gets to be in their ideas and their art. Like, that's just, I do appreciate kind of showing the frustration and anger of that in there.
Bought some stickers from me. Can you draw Sonic's feet for me? And shadows, since the new game's coming out.
Never
Bought
once
your stickers.
Never once have I ever been asked to do something so
beautiful,
compelling.
Oh,
just for you, I will do it for free.
This is a beautiful world. What a beautiful life!
I will dedicate all my time and my life to this.
But also, that one the person buying the art, talking about, like, we have your painting above our bed, and he said it in a way that was like implying that he fucks looking at it, or he jerks off to it. It was a weird implication.
I will say too, the same guy, he bought the painting. Oh my god. Okay, actually, there was actually a really good thing, a really cool thing that was said in the Q&A. Sorry, where Kafar talks about his paintings. Why were the paintings of these, like, very traumatic, very abusive moments in his life, why are they so vividly painted with more, like, brighter colors? And why were the portraits of, like, his mother and father, why were those done with, like, warmer, more minimalist colors? And it was really cool. He said that because the bad memories are the most saturated, most vivid memories in our minds. So he wanted to paint that, and then the more warm, more kind memories are always kind of like fleeting, or not as saturated as they are in our minds. So he expressed that through color, and I think that was really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool, because that's just the way memory is. Like, traumatic things are easily or more memorable, at least for me. Like, I remember every bad thing pretty close to the detail, but every good thing, like movies, for instance, or events with friends, I will forget. That's why every podcast episode I have forgotten, for the most part, unless it was a bad episode and I was, like, actively thinking, this is fucking dog shit. Halloween, but 2017. But still, just great. It was great.
Yeah, and it's, like, so sad, because like we try so hard to cling to the good memories, and it gets tougher. But then these bad memories just we just can't, like, they just stick to us. Yeah, sorry. So moving on, I just want to say that very good. So yeah, opening night was awesome. Got also very lucky opening night. Did not have to pay for parking. That was an incredible experience, I should say. Lady Luck.
Lady Luck.
Lady Luck. I don't know how this made up song goes.
Tim Robinson sung it. After the show, I'm gonna go in the bathroom and have some fun. Pay me. It's a reference to Tim Robinson's The Characters episode. Watch it. Very funny.
Very funny. So then day 2, I was going to take Colt to eat breakfast at Hero Donuts, but there was a fucking marathon that morning. So the line was at the door for this place. So we said, fuck this. We're not eating breakfast. We're going straight to the movie. We'll be fine. This was our first film that we saw at ASFA. We saw
10 a.m. Just like, hey, 10 a.m. I know. Let's just have this, like, I don't know, existential, super emotional movie for you.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it was.
We watched it at the DJD Theater. It was She Is Still Here, the official Genesis Peoria documentary directed by David Charles Rodriguez. An introduction, conversation, and perhaps goodbye to Genesis P-Orridge. Genesis P-Orridge did die in 2020, so who left an astounding and provocative legacy on the worlds of music, art, performance, religion, and the occult, a larger-than-life personality that must be experienced to be grasped. Genesis opens up portals to a way of living that transforms and transcends.
Now, in that, they say perhaps goodbye because in the movie or the documentary, got something in my throat. Genesis believes in a corporeal form, I guess, in a way that, like, once you die, you don't know. You just don't know what's going on there because in the movie, good fucking God, this film, I still, when I think about it, it just puts me in such a fucking place of like, fuck. It's absolutely heartbreaking, but also weirdly uplifting and like eye-opening for what it means to be a person when it comes to gender in a way, because like the in the movie or in the doc they mention to be a person, like the body is a cheap suitcase. That was the term that was thrown around a lot because like over time, like you start to have your body age and get decrepit. It's just, who hasn't wanted to change themselves?
Yeah. Yeah. So Genesis P-Orridge was a big artisan personality. I mean, they were one of the pioneers of industrial music, and for most, or for a little bit of it, we're getting this impression like, okay, Genesis is definitely this is transgressive art, a lot of transgressive art. um, they're definitely on the weirder.
That was one of the
Like,
reasons why I picked out this one, because seeing the person reminded me, oh, this person looks like they'd be in the John Waters film. I like the type of person that is a little alternative, has like a strange look to them. I like that. That's the kind of person that I find myself gravitating towards, as long as they're not normal, but like kind and
yeah.
generally a good person. Like, it's just super interesting. One thing I told Wenzel one of the days is that I like this kind of person, but only when they're a little bit older. Because for some reason in my head, when I see a kid that's like strange, or someone in their 20s that acts like this, I'm thinking they're fucking posers. They're not really about that life. But if I see someone that's like 40 plus doing this, I'm like, okay, they're about that life. They're staying true to themselves. It's a strange mental thing going on there.
I will say too, the energy they have there in their 20s, because they were doing, Genesis P-Orridge was doing some wild shit when they were young.
I would not have been a fan of them if I had only seen that part of them.
Because they're one of the transgressive art pieces that they did was a performance art where they pissed in a bottle and drank it. Jesus Christ, it was disgusting. um, but yeah, no, transgressive art always fascinates me, and like Colt says, I gravitate towards. That's why I have a huge fascination with John Waters. And like Colt said, this person looks like a John Waters character, and that's what's crazy too, is like they the presenter talked about they're a living, breathing artists, or they were somebody who lived and breathed their art. Like,
they became the art themselves.
There is an excerpt in here where Lady J, who was Genesis's final partner, talks about feeling trapped in your own body and the limitations of it due to age, disability, illness, or a many number of things. I think is something we can all empathize with, whether you're trans or not. This discomfort with your own skin and wanting to take control of your body and how you view yourself, it really struck a chord with me. And having Lady J and Genesis vocalize it in this film, through these excerpts, really made me cry. Because I get it. I get it so much, that feeling of being trapped. This might be divulging too much, but it's like sometimes your body feels so awkward, your skin stretching, your bones aching, and you don't like the color of your skin, and you just want to claw and rip it off. And it's such a terrible thing that we still have transphobes and TERFs who are just so goddamn hateful. Trans kids and trans folk need to be protected, always. This is just something, a good reminder of that as well.
Yeah, it was a tough for 10 a.m. film. Hey, yeah, this is great. And when we were walking out, I just didn't know what the fuck to say. I was like, fuck, where to next? And it was another movie that also happens to be a hard hitter when it comes to emotions.
Yeah, and just before that, I just wanted to say too, another aspect of this film that really kind of it was wholesome as it was heartbreaking was the love between Genesis Peorage and Lady J.
Oh
Um,
yeah, that whole situation was beautiful and painful. The Pandrogyne art project that they were doing, where they were trying to become a third person, basically, where they were copying each other visually, to where they want to become the same person. I thought it was incredibly beautiful. It just felt like nothing but love. It just was pure love put into actions, because you could tell these two people really, really cared about each other.
yeah, and Lady J herself, because also too, Genesis Peorage had actually had kids at this point. She had two daughters with her previous partner, and Lady J. I mean, she was like their second mother or their second parent, or um she loved them like they were her own. And no, and like Colt said, they talked about being this like third wholly new person, this new individual, this new being, where I mean they're really like two halves of this entity. And it was just love. Like they wanted to combine that love into a new being. It kind of reminds me of Garnet from Steven Universe.
Yeah,
um
yeah.
and that love was just so pure, and so it just overwhelmed me. And then whenever Lady J dies, it was just brutal.
Yeah,
um
like they say it in the doc. They say like Genesis became a different person. It was a strange. You could just basically see them age. It's the effect where it's like you see an old person, two old people that are still happy. They're around. They're there in the moment, but like as soon as one of them dies in that relationship, the other one just like they lose that will to keep going.
I will say though, Genesis lived for a long time after Lady J died. Like she even, I like Colt says, she kind of recedes or regresses into herself. You could tell there was a change of personality, but at the same time, she wanted to continue. She wanted to go on. She wanted to keep doing art for herself and for Lady J. Um, but eh, but she's getting older. Her health is getting worse. She had asthma as a child, um, and she actually died as a kid. Like that's not even a bit. She was legally dead for like I can't remember how long, for like a few minutes. But they revived her, and then she I think she might have died a second time. I can't remember. And then yeah, and then she still wanted to continue. There was even a part in there where it was really funny. She was going on tour, and whenever they were leaving at the airport, they're like, "All right, we're going," blah blah blah. And then it cuts to Genesis, and she's like, "I'm coming too, bitch."
Very fun.
It was so funny, but it was so sad too, because they talked about how whenever she's working, she says she has so much stuff to do. If only she could breathe. She has so much stuff. I have so much to do. If only I could breathe. If only I could breathe, because she at that point she had to have oxygen with her constantly. Yeah, and then I should say too, throughout the film, we see a painter paint, um, kind of a portrait of her body, of just her bare, like not fully naked, still had pants on, but like of her bare stomach and chest, the tattoos of the necklace. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was like a whole exhibit, because during the sessions where they would paint her, they had like other finished portraits on the wall. of them wearing different jewelry and necklaces. It was a very interesting little setup.
And to cap it off, the title of the film, "She Is Still Here," they get that title because that was the epitaph on Lady J's grave.
Yeah, and it also goes to one of her beliefs of like, maybe she is still here.
Yeah, maybe she is still here. True, like this truly was a beautiful doc. I give it 5 stars, of course. Yeah, it was very good.
I gave it 5 stars as well. I honestly, I think this was my favorite film of the entire festival. It was just how hard it hit me. Genesis is a very interesting person with a crazy life. The fact that she is one of the founders of industrial music, and that whole bit in her life where she was running from the UK government after finding the government was raiding their house because of satanic panic after a Christian group or a religious group lied about them performing satanic sexual rituals on children, but it was just satanic rituals on adults while they were on a trip in Nepal doing helping people from famine. There's a whole lot going on in their life. It's just fucking crazy.
It was so funny too. Sorry, there's so much to say about this movie. Whenever Genesis asked, because it was her partner, and her 2 kids at the time, she asked somebody in Nepal. She was like, what do I do? Where do I go? And the person said, go to Southern California. So she immigrated to America. And yeah, no, it was really, it was crazy. And I should say too, the rituals, quote unquote, that were happening at their house, they weren't necessarily satanic. They were just these sort of exercises.
It's like some Crowley shit. It's alternative lifestyle in a way that, like, it's not religious, it's not Christian.
Yeah, and
strange.
And it was just adults. It was consenting adults doing sexual things. And while they filmed it, the purpose was never to distribute. It was just to have. And whenever they got there, they I think the cops or whoever burned all the footage, or I think they might have done that. Yeah. It was pretty crazy. Also, too, oh God, sorry, I have to say this. There was a really funny moment in there where one of the daughters was talking about how they woke up from a nightmare, and it was so scary, and they thought they were alone in the house, but they felt comforted and safe because they could hear a jingling in the hallway, and the jingling was from Genesis. All the piercings that she had on her dick and balls.
Yeah, and we even get to see it. There's a picture with like so many fucking piercings.
It is insane, and it looks so fucking painful.
Yeah,
I don't understand.
There's some wild images in this doc. There's like clearly an image of Lady J blowing Genesis that they use in the like compilation after it's like Lady J died. This is their beautiful relationship, and it's just her giving head. But they didn't show the penis or the actual mouth, but you could tell that's what was happening.
It was the picture was cut off at her lips. No, it was wild. but beautiful film, I should say. Still,
I would say show it to your grandma at Thanksgiving. Just say, everybody, we're having a family doc movie time, and show it to them and ruin the holidays because you are from the South.
All right, next up is a song for Imogene, directed by Erica Arley. This stars Christy Ray as Cheyenne, Hayden Winston as Alex, Mackenzie Barwick as Janelle, and Jaden Hayes as Noah. This is the directorial debut, by the way. A sudden death and unexpected pregnancy force an impoverished woman to decide between freeing herself or remaining a relic of her drive-by southern town. Yeah, no, this movie was also pretty brutal. kind of hit close to home.
100%. I've seen this not exact situation, but very close act out so many fucking times. Being from a small town in Alabama, it just happens way more than people realize. The whole woman coming, or a woman being the person at home having to give up whatever she wanted to do in her life because she had a incident or accident or had a baby, or just because she had an abusive partner. It is just very, very upsetting to see, but very well done here in this movie, especially the way this man acted. It was like seeing my neighbors. It was crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, like Colt said, you either get to see this firsthand or you just hear about it, either from friends, from family, or what have you. These situations, or these circumstances, and no, it was pretty, it was pretty brutal, spot on.
And one thing that's interesting about this film is like they used maybe like 4 locations to film it, the majority of it being in the home that the mother had. And I thought they did a really good job of like making it feel like it's progressing. Because like normally I feel like a movie would make it feel like it lasted a long time, but here for me, I didn't feel the length, even though it was 2 hours.
Yeah, agreed. No, we definitely feel. I mean, in the film itself, we feel the passing of time, but like, immersed in this story. Like, especially the relationship too between Cheyenne and Janelle, the sisterhood, I thought was very well done. And the way Mackenzie Barwick, she portrays Janelle, and how she avoids certain conversations, and also too the way she acts. I'm like, this is such a Southern woman.
Oh, 100%. Like watching that play out, I was like, fuck, this is like giving me some like flashbacks to my family. I'm like, holy fuck, this is such a Southern thing. You'll have one relative going behind the other's back, just like talking so much shit or blah, blah, blah. I'm going to fuck them over. Or, and then they're like super kind to them in the face. They're like, they're not gonna tell them anything about what they're secretly working on, because it's a crime what they're doing, trying to sign the house over to yourself without even getting any information from the other person, or trying to lie yourself into getting a willed house to yourself. Such a fucking Southern thing to do. Like, oh my God. If you ever say white people don't have culture, they do. It's called stealing things from dead parents, and they love to do it.
I mean, to be fair, I get what she was trying to do, or what she needs to do, because Cheyenne, she was given this house by her mother, but Cheyenne just wants to sell it, and split the money between her and her sister. But Janelle doesn't want to sell it. She wants to keep the house so that she can raise Noah, and have a home.
Yeah, I understand that. It's just that she did not come out and tell Cheyenne that. She straight up hid it from her.
I know, and that's what was so funny about it. Like Colt said, it's just such a, I don't know. It reminds me so much of people we encountered who, Cheyenne she'll try to talk to Janelle about it, and she something happens, or kind of just passes over. It isn't until where Cheyenne is just on her, like bam, 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 like, come on, we got to do this, we got to talk, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this, where she finally, like, the truth is like kind of let out finally, like that happens so much. I thought that was really well done. And yeah, and she didn't have to lie, because Cheyenne doesn't like, she doesn't want to, her character too, she talks about how she went out west and she just wanted to keep going. She wanted to west because she had kind of aspirations. I mean, she wanted to be a musician, and she was for like a little bit, but she gave it up because the money ran out, and she met somebody, Hayden Winston's Alex, and she had to give it up because he's a shitty person. And yeah, so it's sad. And I also too love the scene where she wants to sell her guitar at a pawn shop, and we don't even realize that it's her guitar, but she's trying to get this to get the dealer to give her more, because it's like that's her guitar, that's her electric guitar. Also too, things fucking expensive, but that's hers, and she's not going to give it up without some kind of fight, you know. And then whenever she walks out with the money, she just throws the jewelry on one of the shelves, because when she tried to sell it, she couldn't sell it, so she was just like, fuck this, like I don't need this jewelry, so she just throws it on a shelf. I thought that was great. No, and then also too, it's just, there's a really again, another brutal scene where so she finds it, like it says, she finds out she's pregnant. And what I also too found so fascinating is when Janelle talks about raising Noah to Cheyenne. She's like, well, where's the dad? And I can't remember if she says she doesn't know or she knows, but for the most part, she's like, I don't want to raise Noah with him. Like, I don't want to. I want to raise him by myself. And I think that's so different from a lot of media that we've seen about, about single mothers, or about raising children, or like here, like, I mean, or specifically in America, about the idea of a traditional family. I really love this idea that, like, of either, whether it be a single father or mother who want to raise these children not with the other parent involved, for whatever reason that may be. But I do think that's a story that needs to be told, that not always things can play out like quote traditional families, unquote, or that they should play out like that, like, now, for the most part, Janelle is dating somebody in this film, so it's not like she's not going to have a partner, or she doesn't have somebody, but like, yeah. And then Cheyenne herself says that she wants to do that. She wants to raise, who we find out is what this movie's named after, Imogene, her daughter. We don't know if it's a boy or a girl, because she does have a miscarriage. That's what I was trying to lead into. It's pretty brutal, but she wants to raise her by herself, and that's more than respectable. I do appreciate showing that, what this film does.
I agree 100%. I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd. I had some fun with it. It's fun, in quotations. It was very well done. It like we said, it just hit very close to home, and it was a good film.
Yeah, it was a solid debut from this director, and I gave it 4 stars as well. It was also gorgeously shot. All right, next up, our third film of day 2 was starring Jerry as himself, directed by Law Chen. It's a pseudo doc and narrative. They do use their first names; their last names are changed, but this stars Jerry C. Sue. I think that's how you say their last name, HSU. Sue, Kathy, John, Jesse, and Joshua. Kathy is the ex-wife of Jerry, and then John, Jesse, and Joshua are their children. And this follows a family documents how their immigrant father, Jerry, a recently retired Florida man, was recruited by the Chinese police to be an undercover agent. And that really undersells, not undersells, but this film was, like we've said with the past 3 films, this one was pretty heartbreaking too.
Yeah, that being said, hilarious film. It had some very fucking funny moments.
So freaking funny. So it's pretty much it's pretty much just old people getting scammed again. We watched Thelma, a film earlier this year, which was about old woman getting scammed. This time it's an old man, but this time it's in a more kind of
grounded and like, what's going on here. But in Thelma, it was like I'm gonna get my money back. Let me get a gun, and it was very funny as well. But this one just felt, I guess, more serious.
Well, you say that, but also it does make not make light, but it. What I loved about this film, because Jerry himself, because it's, like I said, it's a pseudo doc and narrative, and Jerry himself is is having fun because he chose to talk about this actually happened to Jerry, about the story, and kind of have fun with it. So basically what happens is he gets contacted and he thinks that he's in trouble. And so to clear his name, he thinks that he's kind of an agent with the Chinese police, kind of doing quote missions unquote. Um where one of my favorite freaking scene is where he goes into the bank that he's been told is just a cover for this money laundering scheme. And the guy he's talking to is Matthew, portrayed by Nick Bailey. I believe that's who that is. And it's so freaking funny because it like the tone changes where Jerry is like asking him like, why are you like you're not gonna get away with this. It's just kind of like, oh shit, like Jerry is just saying all this stuff, and the guy is like looking so confused. But then he comes in, and he's like, but I have been getting away with it for months. I've been laundering money through your account, millions. And then Jerry's like, not anymore, you're not. And he turns his phone because he's talking to these policemen on his phone, and it's like, you've been caught. And he just shows his phone, and then Bustin' SWAT, the Chinese police are there for some reason. They grab him, and he's like, I would have gotten away with it. It wasn't for you, Jerry. Damn you, Jerry. It's so good.
Oh, just a daydream.
It was all just a daydream. It was it was so funny. Oh, and then one of the policemen says, we're gonna give you a citizen's medal for this.
Fuck.
It was so good. No, it was really sad because he lost all of his money, and they even show us the amount that he lost, and it
$998,000. I'm gonna go ahead and round that up to $1 million, but still,
it was almost $1 million, and it was so like and the guy Jerry is so old, and he had to take up DoorDash to live, like because he lives in an apartment by himself, but he needed to now he needs a job, to pay for just basic living. And all that money he was saving it up, not for himself. No, it was for his to take care of his kids, who, they're all adults, but it was to look out for them, and also too for his ex-wife. He
was still a caring man to an ex-wife. That's crazy. In like Western culture in America, once you divorce your wife, you either hate their guts or you just never talk to them again.
Yeah, and I mean, they were friends, even though she herself says, like, says all the things she doesn't like about Jerry, like never had fun with his money or blah blah blah. She even says, like, she felt so bad. She was like, it's insane. Like, who would do this to someone like Jerry? She's like, Jerry is such a good man. He's such a good guy. Like, he never hurts anybody, and all this money that he had, he worked for. This wasn't something that he inherited. This wasn't something that he, nothing. It was all money that he made, like, and saved over time, over like his whole life. Like, he had no help. He did this all by himself. He saved all that money, and now it's all gone. And then it's revealed at the end he actually had to leave America. He had to move back to Taiwan, because he just couldn't afford living here. And now that doesn't mean that his kids didn't offer to help. His like, everybody offered to help, but he did not want any help whatsoever. He didn't want it. He just went back.
Yeah, very, very heartbreaking kind of ending. But like, also the fact that he has dementia, we didn't mention that. He started developing dementia. He went to the doctor and everything. Super depressing. Jesus Christ. But at one of the premiere, I think it was the first time they showed this film off. I don't know what festival it was, but on Letterboxd I saw a review, and it had him in the crowd as everybody had just finished the movie, and they're like super happy, cheering and clapping, and he's just sitting there, not sitting, he's like thanking everybody. It was such a nice little shot. It just shows me that, like, hopefully he's not as bad off, I guess, as it made me feel like he was at the ending.
Well, yeah. It was funny too, because his ex-wife talked about how he I can't remember if she said that like she thought of an ending for the film, or if she said that like he met somebody in Taiwan.
She
But
said like you can't have it ending like such a sad little thing like that. You have to have a happy ending. Like let's say in this ending, he met someone, but it's not me.
Yeah, they ask, it was like, well, who's the woman? She's like, not me. So it was no, it was really good. And then we get these like kind of behind the scenes shots where towards the end, after kind of wrapping up the main story of like, you know, he got scammed. It basically goes into like, well, this is how, you know, this is how they made the movie. And it's them talking with Jerry because he kind of, when he was younger, he kind of wanted to be an actor. He really enjoyed acting. So this is kind of his second like second wind into acting. And like he was really, you know, really hands on with this too. It was no, it was really nice. And again, as sad as it may be, it was just that part of it I think was very very hopeful in a way.
Yeah, I just found myself the entire movie screaming at myself in my head, Jerry, please stop. Just please, Jerry, just think it over. Don't send $250,000. God damn it, Jerry.
It's so sad. And they talk about too, he talks about why he did what he did. And he said it was two things, because one, he felt like he was doing something important in his life. Like a special agent doing something that would do a lot of good. And two, it's because he believes people, you know, he believes in the good of people. Like he believes in that. And so that's how he's taken advantage of. He thought these were good people trying to help him, and you know, took advantage of him. And also too, they would ask him like throughout the course of this period of just like stuff of like, how's it going, how you're doing, how's your family, what are you eating right now, like send us pictures so we can know what you're eating, like just these things of like trying to get to know him, connect with him and stuff. And then once they got their money, that's it.
And the whole like take a picture thing, it also it lets them see into the world of the person they're trying to scam. See like if there's mail on the table, there's a letter, there's anything that they could get over on this person just to help them just drain their bank account. It was a very good detail because I've seen it happen a couple of times in other things.
Yep. And they would ask him like, you know, have you taken your medicine? Have you done this? Have you done that? To really sell. Like they're like really watching out for this old man. It's like yeah, it's pretty brutal. But yeah, I give this movie 5 stars. I thought it was great.
5 stars as well. This was a fantastic film. I'm hoping it gets a theatrical release. I want more people to see this because it was genuinely one of my favorite movies that I've seen this year. It was very good.
Oh yeah. But next up, our final film of day 2. We saw this at and we saw Jerry starring himself. We saw that at
Lyric.
Yeah, we saw that at the Lyric. I couldn't remember now. So our next film we saw at the Sidewalk Cinema. It was Sirocco and the Kingdom of the Winds. This is the first film that we knew that we had to watch at this festival. It was confirmed. It was my most anticipated. And it was like I said, this is our last film of day 2 and the night. This is directed by Bino Chu. Sorry,
French.
It's a French film. The cast, it's an animated film. It's the only animated film, by the way, full feature at Sidewalk. It has Louise Charpentier as Juliette, Marin Berthiaud as Carmen, Aurélie Canate as Selma, and Pierre Logne as Sirocco. If I got any of those names wrong, I am so sorry. So in a quick synopsis, Agnes, Juliette, and Carmen's neighbor writes children's storybooks that take place in a fantasy world, the Kingdom of the Winds. The intrepid sisters discover a passageway between their world and this extraordinary universe. Once on the other side, the girls take on the appearance of cats and discover Sirocco, a terrifying character who can control the wind. Also, too, we got cat ears before this.
Yeah, like just everybody in that room had their cat ears on. Wenzel was a coward and he took them off. I had mine on the whole movie because I am a real cat fan.
off because it was squeezing my head.
You're supposed to put the pressure that you're supposed to push with your brain. Use your brain muscles to push out so the pain doesn't happen.
I just didn't want to end the night with a headache.
I guess your brain's not big enough to help you survive cat ears. Oof.
Yeah, I guess I don't have brain swelling.
Yeah, you don't. I've got liquid on the brain, and you don't.
You're right.
Nana boo boo, stick your head in doo doo. One thing about Sirocco is I think that the person that came out before the movie started put it very well. It's like if Dr. Seuss met Studio Ghibli, and I agree 100%. That is a great way to describe this movie.
Absolutely. It was the best way to describe it. Yep. But yeah, no, it definitely has the feelings of a Studio Ghibli film. No, I was not disappointed with this movie. I loved it. This is such a uniquely animated film. I had a great time.
I agree 100%. Like the whole kids finding a book after just being thrown off on this woman that's a friend of your mom. It just the whole little creatures, just a sidewalk game just to jump into another world. It was so cool. Oh my goodness, everything about it. And then they turned to kitty cats, and one of them wore a fucking kitty cat onesie the entire time, and it was super cute because she would do cat things. It was just such a good movie.
It was very wholesome, very cute, and just really cool. I love Sirocco. Like anytime he was on screen and when he would talk, it was just so sick. Like there's especially a scene whenever Selma is being overwhelmed by the storm, and then he appears, and like the music changes, and the tone just changes, and then he just snaps his fingers, and the storm just disappears. Like I mean, literally, it's just clear. Like you could see the whole freaking desert. Just one snap, bam, just done. No, anytime like he was on screen, I loved it. Gosh, and then also too, Selma. There's two scenes where she sings that were just so incredible.
I had goosebumps for both of them.
They were just so good. Actually, because the soundtrack's on, you can listen to the soundtrack. So it's Opera Sirocco. There's three songs specifically that show that the singer Celia Kameni. And the soundtrack was done by Pablo Pico. Opera Sirocco, Le Souffle Magique, and then La Royaume da Sirocco. Those are the three songs that include her singing. Just absolutely just incredible. Like, I mean, you're talking about like making people go silent. It just makes you go silent. You're just enraptured by it. And the visuals too. Like this is such a unique, one of a kind animated film. It's just incredible. Like being somebody who like, draws and paints and stuff, seeing this movie, I just have such a soft spot for it. It was just incredible. If I were to give one criticism, it's so short. It's only 80 minutes, and there's so much that's this world that's built, and it's just like I want more. I just need more now. I really
wanted to explore this world in a video game, because I really feel like a video game or a comic would be especially good. It just felt like too much going on here that I just wanted to explore. I wanted to see more of the little toys. I wanted to see more creatures. I want to see the little kingdoms.
Yeah, because there was so many like little creatures, vivid just colors, and just these really just cool like landscapes and designs. It was just so incredible. And the story wasn't anything too crazy. It was just, I mean, it was just very cool. And it was also, I think there's a lot to say too with Selma, because Selma is the sister of the woman who writes these books, Agnes. And one of the ways that she keeps her alive is in this book. She wrote her sister into this book. And the reason why her sister died was because she loved to chase storms. And so eventually a storm got her and killed her. And in this book, while she's a singer, she still likes to chase storms a little bit. And I mean, she chased after the Lord of Storms himself, Sirocco. They fell in love, and I will say there's such a funny scene where Sirocco sacrifices himself to save Selma, and he starts to unravel. And when he unravels, we see his full fucking face, which I did not expect for his face to look like that. And I know people in the theater laughed because it was cute, but it was funny.
Yeah, he was a freaky looking fucker. He looks like someone that would stare at you while you are vaping because he wants to vape and he wants to ask for it, but he's not going to ask for it.
So he just stares at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. There was actually a review I liked on Letterboxd. They use the keyboard to make exactly the face of Sirocco.
Yeah.
I love that. That's so good. No, it was so cool. And then like Colt said to Juliet, the youngest sister, she gets a onesie and she starts acting like a cat, just kicking this mayor's ass. It's so funny. And then there's like these flamingos that are part of the ship or Selma's crew. They're a bunch of buff flamingo sailors. Oh, dude, Pat would love them. I think Pat would love them. This film was awesome.
I highly recommend any animation fan to go watch it. I'm hoping I did my survey, Sidewalk survey, and but I'm hoping they get more animation because I just need more animation at Sidewalk. Please.
Yeah, absolutely. Because this is actually the second French animated film we watched this year that was incredible.
Chicken for Linda, man. I thought the voices of the kids, I was like, fuck, one of those kids sound like they were in Chicken for Linda. I guess all French kids sound the same.
No, I was wondering. I was like, is anybody from Chicken for Linda in here? But no, nobody is from there. But oh yeah, and the voice performances were incredible. Really for me, this is an awesome film. I give it 5 stars. I love it, and as somebody who has a soft spot for animation and for art, this is just, like I said, this is truly a one of a kind film that I hope that it being it gets more animated films at Sidewalk, and maybe if there's enough attention to it, that maybe people or somebody will be like, hey, let's make more Sirocco in the Kingdom of the Winds.
Please. There's a lot of books. There's a lot of Sirocco books in the movie.
Yep.
Now, me as a hater of art and animation, this one surprised me. 2.5 stars. Just kidding. I love art animation. 4.5. It was very good, but the story wasn't. It was fine. It was a fine story, but everything else about it was really what made it so special.
Yeah. Like I said too, the story wasn't really anything crazy. It just moves so fast too. I think if it was longer and they did some more stuff, I think it really could have been crazy. But I just love it so much. I have to give it 5 stars. I love it too much not to. It was too great for me. But yeah, that was it. That was the end of day 2. We had 4 good films.
Oh yeah. Not a bad one yet.
Yeah, so day 2 was great. Again, a lot of good films. But now we're going to day 3. Start off again in the morning. We start off with Sleep, directed by Jason Yu. We watched this at the Alabama Theater. This started last year. So cast list is Jung Yoo Mi as Soo Jin, and Lee Sun Kyun as Hyun Soo, Kim Koo Hee as Min Jung, Lee Kyung Jin as Soo Jin's mother, and so synopsis: Hyu Soo and Soo Jin are newlyweds. Seemingly out of nowhere, he starts talking in his sleep. He says, "Someone's inside." From that night on, whenever he falls asleep, he transforms into someone else with no recollection of what happened the night before. Soo Jin is overwhelmed with anxiety that he'd hurt her family while she sleeps and can barely sleep a wink because of the irrational fear. Despite sleep treatment, Hyun Soo's sleepwalking only intensifies, and she begins to feel that her unborn child may be in danger. Should mention, this is Lee Sun Kyun's last film before he died in December 27th of last year. He was in Bong Joon-ho's Parasite, if nobody remembers.
Very, very prominent Korean actor. Rest in peace. Before the movie even started, the person that came on stage to introduce it said maybe this film was like people have talked about this film being cursed. I don't think so. I don't understand, or at least I don't understand the reasoning behind that. Just because one man died.
Yeah, I tried looking up to see if there was anything about like the film potentially being cursed or anything. No, I couldn't find anything. Not to say anything or throw any shade on anybody or anything. It's just that was very strange. This is also the directorial feature debut from Jason Yu, by the way.
Well, he did another fantastic job. I want to see more of his films because wow, this was a great film to start the day with at 10 in the morning. That was one thing about Sidewalk. While I did love it, I did not get to sleep in, and it was very sad because I had to wake up at fucking 7 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday. I hate doing that, but it was worth it because Sidewalk it's just that good.
I will say we had it done to where by the time we got home, it would be 10 or 11. So that would give everybody kind of an hour to wind down, to go to sleep, and then have enough sleep when we got up in the morning. It does suck not being able to sleep in, but like Colt said, it's worth it. Did the same thing last year. So yeah. Yeah, no, we got there that morning. We got right in line. Didn't take long whatsoever. And then it was good though because we started with a horror film in the morning. So it definitely kind of woke us up with some of the sound and the sound editing here was very loud. But
Oh yeah, it was very loud, booming, and just you know what? Even though it's called Sleep, didn't put me to sleep, and also not much sleeping going on. It was a lot of trying to stay awake.
a lot of terror, not much sleeping in this movie. Yeah, no, it was very good.
I think
Gosh.
if you don't know anything about this movie, stop listening to this part. Skip like I don't know. Fuck you. Just skip this part because I think you should watch this movie 100%
Yeah,
without knowing anything about it.
absolutely. I mean, honestly, if you watch any of these movies, I'll put timestamps. That was something I forgot to say. I will put timestamps. I'll say that. I'll say that obviously whenever the tweet goes out and this episode's uploaded, I will have timestamps for all this stuff. Fuck. Okay, actually, I will have that, but I just made this so much fucking harder for myself because what I meant to do beforehand, god damn it, I knew I was forgetting something. I meant to start a timer whenever this episode starts so that as the episode's going, the timer will also be going at the same exact time. So every time we started talked about a film, I can write down the time, and I can know beforehand. But I forgot to do that. Damn it! So this is gonna be so much harder. That's fine. If you can go in not knowing anything, definitely, because I remember I heard about this film so much last year. Like there's this new Korean horror film. Gotta watch it. Gotta check it out. And then when I saw that it was coming at Sidewalk for that morning slot, I was like, oh well, shit. Like I really want. I was like, I don't know what other movie we're gonna watch that morning, but uh, gotta watch Sleep because I've heard so many good things about it. And yeah, and it was also fun too. The person who came to introduce it was also in their pajamas. I think that was very fitting. I made a joke to Tanner. Well, I was like, "Oh yeah, they give us sleeping pills before this," and later after the movie ends, I just look at our messages and I just get these like very just like all cats messages. Is like, "Did they really do that?" I'm like, "Did they really give you sleeping pills?" Like, no, that was not no. And what? That's illegal.
Yeah, they wouldn't just give us fucking pills. Hey, yeah, here's some pills. Yeah, take them.
No, it was very funny. Gosh, yeah, no, their performances were awesome, and I mean, it was genuinely like creepy, and like, I mean, too, like, when it comes to sleep, like that's something that like us being animals, that's something we need, and that's like our most vulnerable times. Um, and for this movie to prey upon that vulnerability, those fears, was really good. The ending was also very good too, just because of like again, mild spoilers here. Our male lead here, his character is an actor, and so at the very end of the movie, it has reached a escalating, way over escalation point, where his wife was going to kill the ghost, the grandfather ghost, the ghost of the grandfather's daughter. She was going to kill her, and so whenever this he realizes like how serious this is, how far this escalates, it's pretty ambiguous. It's like, okay, well, was he really possessed, or did he recognize the situation was just like, I gotta act my fucking ass off right now, and so he acts. I think I'd like to think that he wasn't really possessed, that he was just acting.
And I like
Be-
to think that he was possessed because I like the idea of a ghost in a
no,
movie.
no, and I think that's totally like, that's what I love about this is like, they're, while it's seemingly like it's so ambiguous that like if you were to say there were some paranormal aspects to it, I could believe you. And then if you say like, well, no, there weren't really paranormal stuff, I think the guy was actually suffering from a sleep disorder. It's like, yeah, I could see that. I think this is a, I think this too, um, this film having both those perspectives, I think is just incredible. And and the dogs. I love
Rest
the
in
dogs.
peace.
Rest in peace.
The same dog played two dogs.
Pepper and Andrew. I
God
will
damn,
say
rest their souls.
Andrew was dressed way nicer than Pepper.
That's probably why he killed Pepper, because Pepper had no drip.
Pepper had no drip, and then that's why Sujin killed Andrew, because he had too much drip.
That's true. That's true. That's one thing. My one major thing in this movie is how stupid the wife was. Why the fuck did she let the baby stay in the apartment with a man that recently, even if it's not paranormal, he slept, walked, put a dog in the freezer to where it died? I wouldn't let the babies be in the same roof, under the same roof, personally, but I'm just different, I guess.
Well, see, the thing is that's why I think there's like so much complexity to this, because she has postpartum hormones. She just gave birth. She just had a traumatic thing happen on top of the stress of her husband and all this. There were so many contributing factors that like I don't like, she was being like delusional. I don't really, I can't really take so much blame off of her, because she just wasn't thinking straight, especially too with her thinking that her husband is possessed. I mean, yeah, no, I think about that. I'm just like, she also thought her husband is actually possessed by a ghost. So I can't really say like, oh, why didn't she do this? Why didn't she do that? It's like we're like, logic is kind of gone right now. So yeah, but no, I think that's a fair point. Oh gosh, no, it was a solid film to start the morning. It was great. I gave it 4.5, 4.5. This is a good time.
I did too. 4.5 stars. This was a fantastic film. I want, you know what? Here's another thing for Sidewalk. Get some more foreign films that are Asian, or hell, even more African, because we're going to be talking about an African movie coming up.
But yeah, no, this year they had a lot of docs, a lot of docs. And of course they had foreign films, but they didn't have a lot of like Colt said, a lot of more Asian. And that's not, I don't think that was done on purpose or anything.
Get
Yeah,
some
I agree.
Indian movies in there as well, because there's some really good ones that are not getting spotlights. It'd be nice to have them up.
Then our second film was, we watched this at the Sidewalk Cinema. We also got little little boxing gloves that they threw at us. I was able to catch one. It was perfect too. It was a perfect throw and a perfect catch. And then eventually later in the festival, I tied it to my lanyard as a little charm. It was very, I don't know, very fun. But yeah, so Fight Like a Girl. this released last year. It's still going to festivals. This is directed by Matthew Luttweiler. They don't have the cast list on Letterboxd, which is kind of frustrating, but I do have the cast list here. So Alma Kamata plays Safi, Hakeem Kai Kazim plays Bagunda, Malika Awama Huro plays Marcella, Bahali Ruth plays Layla, Clark Tumbawe, I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, plays Aisha. A young Congolese woman forced to work in an illegal mineral mine escapes her captors. She finds a new life for herself after joining a renowned all-women boxing club in the border city of Goma. Go ahead and say it right off the bat. This is our least favorite film of the festival. Very disappointed.
Yeah, I think it was bad. I think it was perfectly serviceable film. There was some stuff that I really didn't care for it being in the film. Mainly the relationship, like the romance thing that was going on with that one guy, that it felt like he was like not the greatest actor working with some really dang good actresses. It just felt so out of place, especially with the ending, with him being in the crowd, having this little note handed to her. It just felt so unnecessary, unneeded. The movie would honestly be better without him.
Yeah, so I guess I'll say my criticism of this movie. So the story on paper sounds really good, and then the subject matter is brutal, I should say. There is slavery, of course, and there is rape. But it was just, and it's also 2 hours long, and like, so from a technical standpoint, there was these really good cinematic shots, really good, but then it swaps sometimes to these GoPro drone documentary style shots that are it's just so out of place, so jarring, and like jarring too because there's also these musical cues that really did not fit. It would go to playing this like very like uh harsh kind of sad music that was it would be pretty loud, and then it would go to like more like upbeat and like very quickly. It was, and like and there was no really, you don't really get a passage of time other than through like a quick training montage, and it just didn't work. And as Colt says, there was this romance with this guy who builds coffins outside of their training area, and it felt so freaking forced. The actresses did a pretty good job, and I actually really enjoyed Hakeem Kai Kazim playing Bagunda. He was actually very good. This guy was just, yeah, it just felt so forced. It was so weird, um and yeah, it was fine. It was fine. It was okay.
I also just didn't care for the, like, I guess it was important to show that these kind of things happen in this world, but also like it didn't really move anything along with the plot. Was the rape at the beginning of the movie of the main character? It just felt like there wasn't much reason for that, because the only time it ever really is brought up in the story again is with the romance, and the romance feels like it wasn't necessary at all. So
well, the thing is that, so most of the women that are here in this boxing club, well, I should say, one of them specifically mentions how she was raped, and she ends up carrying the rapist kid to term.
that makes sense why it's there, because it's showing like, why are you here in this dojo? Because like she wants to protect herself, she wants to be able to fight back.
No, what I'm saying is like there is that connection there, and then also too of like there's this scene where it shows this woman who's passed out being raped on the street.
That's another unnecessary one.
That was so weird. And then like and we get this like kind of like this, I don't know, this awkward scene of this woman coming up with to defend the woman. It just felt like I said, this is brutal subject matter, and and obviously I'm trying to think what to say here because it's like it's trying to say like it's trying to be empowering, but it just comes off as kind of exploitative and unnecessarily cruel. Like because like I said at the boxing club, it's like the connection there of that like they're women and they face um very harsh conditions, and that's also how they're supposed to connect with each other is because of rape, because of how they're mistreated as women. It was like I said, I didn't really like it. I thought that was very weird. But
Also, it
time,
ends with like the main character losing the whole fight that we've been building up for in like a crazy fucking brutal way. Basically, it looks like she goes blind because that eye was fucked up.
and that's the thing too, is like that. It's like, while I do appreciate that, like there was this kind of this thing that was set up that like you don't have to win this fight. It's okay if you lose. It's okay to lose in life, you know?
But she pushed so hard and so far, potentially getting it to where her eyes gone, and she still lost. Like, take your fucking like shit and leave when you gotta go. You know you're not gonna win, so stop fighting. You're gonna lose an eye if you do.
Well, that's also what I appreciate too, is that with most films that have done these kind of underdog stories of like, oh, like this person just came out of nowhere. They're absolutely kicking ass. They're doing this, doing that. They're so cool. And then at the very end, it's just like, no, it's like they stop the fight. It's like her eye is too damaged. She cannot fight anymore. It's like we have to end it, and they end it. And I think I think that's kind of. I mean, that's kind of real too. I do kind of appreciate that. But also too, she trained hard, but it was in such a short amount of time. They even said like there's no way she can do this. Like it's too sudden.
Yeah, it's like a last second, like the person that was gonna fight broke her fist. Okay, it's like tomorrow, question mark. So you're gonna do it.
And that's my thing too, is like we were supposed to get the impression that they trained her for, I don't know, maybe weeks, maybe a month or so. It was very short. I can't remember what they said. We never get the impression again of the passage of time. It feels like all this happens within a week. It it's crazy. They only really passages when they show us flashbacks and when they give us a montage. That's really it. Yeah, no, I just I thought at times it was it's just too awkward and too um not really helpful of a film, in my opinion. Yeah, like on paper, like I said, we chose this because we thought it sounded very interesting, but it just ended up being a kind of disappointing.
A movie that filled out the theater because like this and Sirocco, both
Yeah.
full rooms.
Yeah, no, it was crazy full. Yeah. Um, any any final thoughts?
I gave it 3.5. It was all right. It was. I did enjoy it. I know it sounds like a bunch of like hate, but I did enjoy it to an extent.
Yeah, I gave it 3 stars. I did, like I said, enjoy it to an extent. I think there were some really, good shots, and I liked the I thought it was an interesting story to say the least, but it was just some aspects of it were just too suspicious of it to really for me to really say like, this is a film everybody needs to see, or yeah. But yeah, so next up we watched this at the Alabama Theater again.
Yep.
Yeah. This is Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person. This was released last year. It is on streaming, but it's still in some festivals. It's directed by Ariane Louise Sees. The cast is as follows: Sarah Mon Petit playing Sasha, Felix Antoine Bernard playing Paul. Yeah, I mean those are our two main characters we follow here, two leads. Synopsis is Sasha is a young vampire with a serious problem. She's too sensitive to kill. When her exasperated parents cut off her blood supply, Sasha's life is in jeopardy. Luckily, she meets Paul, a lonely teenager with suicidal tendencies who is willing to give his life to save hers. But their friendly agreement soon becomes a nocturnal quest to fulfill Paul's last wishes before day breaks. I love this movie. It was goth. It was very wholesome. Dark.
It was a strange coming of age, kinda, even though it's like it's a kid vampire.
Definitely strange, but in a fun, quirky way, in my opinion. And as I said, it's dark because Paul is dealing with thoughts of suicide, but he finally finds connection, a possible end to his loneliness through his friendship with Sasha. And Sasha herself is struggling here because while she wants to live, she can't bring herself to commit such cruel acts that vampires need to do to survive. Also mimicking Paul's thoughts of suicide, because in this universe, if a vampire eats normal human food, they will die. And she's kind of like always like kind of tempted, nearing her hand towards it, just coming just ever so close. But they go on this nighttime quest to fulfill his dying wish, which is basically to say "fuck you" to all of his bullies and incompetent school counselor / principal. I can't really remember what she was, and we see their friendship develop throughout the night, and we even get this very cute scene of them jamming out to "Emotions" by Brenda Lee, and there's a clashing of their vibes here, but their goofiness in this moment is the vibe, and I love it. I just thought this whole sequence, this sequence is basically just the whole freaking film of them, of their friendship developing, and I guess in a way it's like coming of age, but just see this is very, like I said, wholesome, very very sweet. I really love this. It I don't know, just it resonated with me in I don't know, in a strange way.
As I've gotten older, I guess since it is kind of a coming of an age thing where it's two kids, quotation marks, one of them's like a 40-year-old vampire.
60.
60-year-old vampire. It's just like movies like this, as I've gotten older, the quirkiness, it can be fun to an extent, but I find it's like, I guess I'm tired of it at this point, as I've seen so many fucking quirked up movies, and I enjoy a lot of them. I even enjoyed this one a lot. It's just, I've seen so many of them at this point. It's just, it starts to run together at some point. But the unique thing about this one is that it was a vampire, and this whole fun of the I want to kill you, or I want to die for you, but you don't want to kill me because you love me was nice.
Well, you say coming of age. It's not necessarily a coming of age movie.
It's not. It's. I don't know what to call it or coin it.
I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't coin
Is
it
it
really.
teen love? It's not
I
teen.
wouldn't even call it that. Like it's. I mean,
there's a specific genre that it's not genre, like classification that's here.
Yeah,
It's like a super sub genre. Like we've had other movies do the same thing that I'm also blanking on right now.
Yeah, I really gosh, you really caught me here because I don't really know. I just
Thing I will say, watching comedy movies at the this kind of festival, especially this one, it's hard to hear. Even with subtitles, like you lose audio at some points because people are laughing for so hard and so long. It also affected the experience of the movie, and I was kind of annoyed but it's what you get when you're going to a huge festival thing like this.
Also, you say it's a comedy. People are gonna laugh.
I know that, but
Can you not
it
read?
was hard to hear. A movie isn't. I just like to hear stuff, even if people are laughing. I just like to hear stuff. Sorry.
Oh no, that's fine. It's just you bring up subtitles, and I'm just saying
It has subtitles, yes, but like, how are they saying these words? How does it say? What's the inflection?
Yeah, no. Yeah, no, I mean, no, like you said, it's a festival and it's a comedy, so people are laughing. It's you get what you get.
Yeah, I just don't really have much to say about this film other than like I had fun. It was a fun time. It's not necessarily a super standout for me, but I had fun with it.
I gave it 5 stars. I really did. I loved it, and I thought the 2 lead performances were incredible. The subtlety that Mon Petit brings out in Sasha, and also the compassionate natures that both actors bring in their characters, were performed amazingly. And I just love this nighttime quest of finding meaning and connection that isn't necessarily romantic. The ending and events make it very ambiguous, but I like to think they're just great friends looking out for each other. And the ending again, this whole freaking movie was a lot of fun, and it looks stunning too. I should mention that it looked incredible. Yeah.
I gave it 4 stars. It was good.
All right. Final film of the night was an encore screening. It was shown in the morning of the previous day, but we didn't see it.
We
But
watched the Genesis docs instead.
Genesis doc. Yeah.
And you know what? I'm glad they did an encore for this because like both of the fucking 10 AM movies from that day, or there was probably more, but the 2 that we wanted to see were so good. So good.
We're so good. So when we saw this was getting an encore screening, we thought, you know what, this is gonna be the film that we end the night with, end the festival with, and I'm glad we did. It's Lady Parts. Still going through its festivals right now. It's directed by Nancy Boyd. Starring Valentina Tomorrow as Paige, Amy Linden as Linda, Peter Larney as Steve, and Lars Midthun as Cody, and Ben Lepley as Dr. Silverstein. This film synopsis is Lady Parts is a dramedy feature film where a young woman's sex life becomes a family affair when she has to undergo a vulvar vestibulectomy. Her loving but overbearing parents help her through recovery despite her cringing and learn that saying vagina loud and proud is the first step to advocating for herself in all aspects of her life. Yeah, no, and then also too the writer Bonnie Gross. This is based on her experience with exactly what the procedure that she had to have done. Yeah, no, this film was great. It was incredible. Also, too, the filmmakers were there, the director, the writer, the lead actress, the cinematographer, and somebody else. I'm not too sure. I think she's a producer, but they were all there. They were all great.
Before the movie even started, they simulated period cramps on one of the guys in the audience.
Yeah,
it was very fun.
It was very fun. Also, too, this showing got full. They said that the showing, their first showing, also got full, and then this one was full. They had to turn away like 40 people.
It was a lot of people. We got there right at the best time. Thank God we were in the VIP line, because if we weren't, I don't think we would have made it in.
Yeah, no, we got as soon as we got done eating, we were like, let's just go ahead and go in there. As soon as we got in there, sure enough, they were already lining up. So it was like, fuck, okay. So we'll get in line. We were close to basically to the front. And this is the Black Box Theater. And also too, it was very hot in that hallway.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, for the most part, it was fine. They had to get a bunch of chairs. It took us a long time, but that was because they were trying to max out as much seating as possible.
Also made me realize how people don't really know how to act in public again. Just I get reminded every few months that people don't understand courtesy or just like being a human, I guess. Because like one of the volunteers said, "Hey, can we keep it down? There's still a thing going on in the classroom. We don't want to ruin it or disrupt it for them." And then the hallway just kept going, back to blasting at the same volume. And then later he's like, "Hey, can we clear out this middle the hallway so we can get some chairs in here so we can get you guys in here?" People cleared out for 1 second and then it went back to normal. It's just frustrating seeing people react or interact with other people. It's strange. It's a very self-centered kind of acting.
Yeah, I was telling Colt this. It's always so weird witnessing this, especially with something like keeping your volume down, because I mean, Jesus Christ, we're all adults. I mean, half of the people there was like 30s or 40s.
And they were
Like,
the ones screaming.
they were so loud. I'm like, Jesus Christ, like what's going on here? This, and it's so crazy too, this festival. There were a lot of times where there were people who just didn't know how to act, and you would think at a film festival that people would know how to act at movies, but people still don't know how to act at movies. Oh my gosh. So I'm so sorry. Before we get into lady parts, it never fails. Almost at every fucking showing, people do not know how to put their shit up. They were dropping either their phones or the loudest, most gigantic metal bottles known to humankind. Always.
It's like they had a bag that had a hole in it that they just kept putting stuff in every 30 minutes because you'd hear the sounds clattering all over the fucking floor. It was constant. It was so strange. I didn't have anything fall in my pockets the entire weekend, and my pockets were full. I had my wallet, my phone, a bunch of other shit. Come on now, gang.
And then also too, if it's the VIP people, you get complimentary bags. So I don't know what's happening. I literally turn over to Cole at one of the movies. I'm like, I'm like, because there was like 5 different bottles that fell all within the span of 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm like, I'm to Cole, I'm like, you're fucking with me right now, right? You're fucking with me. Like, are you serious? Oh my God. It's just crazy. But no, back to lady parts. It was awesome. Like I said, the filmmakers were great, and then their performance, led by Valentina Tomorrow, I hope I'm saying her name right, was incredible. She was great. She was also funny, not only in the film but in person. She was fucking hilarious. They like, it was crazy.
Yeah, she did a great job at delivering the lines that she was given for these jokes. Very funny.
And the parents too were like really good. Like I didn't realize this, but I did have they had a Q&A afterwards, and there was this question that I didn't think about that I should have asked, but I wanted to, but I didn't think about till after. But I thought like, man, were the writer, were her parents actually like this? Because holy shit, like, these parents are so supportive and so caring. It was incredible. And then not only that too, just this film is so important. Because when it comes to like they even do the joke in there of like her, like a montage of all these doctors telling her like, oh, you're just crazy, or no, that's not what's happening, you know, you're just making this up, or you know, all this shit, like this stuff that's said all the time to women suffering like with their health, especially with their in their reproductive health, who are just suffering, and then they're told like they're, you know, like it's nothing, or like they're misdiagnosed, and they go years, decades, whole lives suffering. And I think that's
one thing about the film that was relatable in the sense that it's just like anybody with any kind of illness, physical, mental, anything, you go your whole life thinking like, fuck, this sucks. Like with me, like I thought like, I'll be fine. But my mom's like, you don't have anything. You're fine. It turns out you got ADHD. And it just feels like there's a term I'm looking for whenever you are found justified in what you thought.
Validated.
There we go. You're feeling validated of your suspicions and your life.
Yeah. No, it was like obviously like the importance here is of women's health and
Yes.
but like just the general thing here of like of being, you know, not diagnosed, not checked, not nothing, just your whole life, and then come to find out later it's like, oh shit, I was right. I mean, I don't know. It's so wild to me too, because going through school, I remember English teachers. I would always have papers graded, you know, and then I was always getting like stuff marked off because it's like, oh, well, why'd you put this word here? Or why is this sentence structured weird? Or blah blah blah, this and that. And then like over time, you know, it just made me so paranoid of like grammar and punctuation. I'm just like, oh my god, it has to be like this, it has to be like this. Oh my god, like holy shit, like fuck. And then come to find out, like the rearranging words or having these troubles, especially like too with with spelling, it's it's um it's dyslexia, and my dad has it, and it just never occurred to me uh that I might have it. And then finally getting tested, it's like, oh yeah, you're dyslexic. um and then it's like having all these teachers, all these fucking teachers grade your papers over and over again, never ever saying anything, realizing or anything. It's like, this is weird, why does he keep putting words in the wrong places? Like, holy shit, man. Like, it's like you're being told like, oh, you know, you're not doing this right, you're not doing that right, you're wrong or whatever. And it's just like finding out, it's like, no, it's like I like literally my brain is playing a trick on me. Like yeah. So no, and then not only that, it's just mental illness, as Colt says, being neurodivergent, having all this stuff that like having validated and confirmed later, man. Yeah. No, it was awesome. And genuinely funny. I also really like the title card that they had with with their kind of font made from different stuff. It was very cool. Yeah, no, and then also too, just a gorgeous film. The cinematographer did an awesome job.
And I also enjoyed the colors palette for this film. It was very bright.
It was very bright. That, like I said, I really love how this film was shot too. Also, there's like a lot of pink. Pink's my favorite color, so you already got me on board. Also, I love the film poster too. Again, a lot of pink. On the film poster, the actress has her dilators that she uses. She has it as like a crown. I love that.
It's very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, no, this film is important. I think it's very like it's just incredible, and I think it's very, 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 very important. Yeah, I give it 5 stars. Yeah.
I gave it 5 stars as well. I thought it was a great film. At the end of the day, I sat my man ass down and listened.
Yeah, we sat our asses down and listened. But yeah, no. So that's it. I mean, that's all the films we watched.
9 films total.
9 films total. You want to
What?
say? You want to say what your 4 favorite films are?
Yeah.
That's what I was just trying to ask. Damn, Colt.
My number 1, She Is Still Here. Beautiful, heartbreaking, great doc. Number 2 is gonna have to go to starring Jerry as himself. Goodness gracious, Jerry. You know what, Jerry? I need 50 grand right now. How about that? See if he falls through with that. And then I go lady parts, and then for my 4th, I'm gonna go sleep.
Oh wow. All right, hell yeah. My favorites. She Is Still Here. Sirocco, Humanist Vampire, and Lady Parts. Well, sorry, Lady Parts, then Humanist Vampire. Yeah. I
We
mean,
watched some great films here. Like even the movie that was bad wasn't bad. Just had some strange stuff going on.
Yeah, just yeah. But yeah, no, it was a solid weekend. It just went by. I mean, like Colt said, you're watching movie to movie to movie. It goes by so fast. And as we said in the very beginning of the episode, after doing that for so much, I mean, by the time we got home, we were just drained, so tired. I mean, even right now, I'll be honest with you, doing this episode, this whole week I've been fucking tired, like just so drained of energy, just so like sad. Because I mean, it was really a great time, and now we got to come back to real life, which isn't watching movies every single day.
Yeah, but we're not over yet. I mean, we got a convention we're going to in October, the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Something for the podcast, maybe. I don't know.
No, we have a lot of plans for the podcast. I am excited. We came up with yeah, I can't say anything really. I just hope we can do those plans, and I hope everybody will like them.
Yay!
But yeah, any final thoughts for Sidewalk?
It was such a fun experience. Thank you again, Sidewalk. I love you. I want that. I want to be there for the 27th year in a row because, wow, I hope y'all gained your money back because the opening night statement of not doing so great on the tickets it made me feel a little sad, but I hope y'all recouped the money. I love you, Sidewalk.
Yeah, yeah, no, they were very upfront in their opening statement about how much it costs to do this festival, and how long it takes. I mean, they were real, and yeah, it takes a lot, money and manpower to do something like this. So we're very grateful, hoping that it returns next year, hoping that we can return, and yeah, we for the most part we get it. And I mean, you guys did awesome. So yeah, thank you so much. But yeah, that is it. But I should say next week there's also another certain episode that kind of is in the vein of Sidewalk. Let's just say it is the pre-sequel.
The prequel sequel.
Yes. It comes out after this episode, but it has events that take place before
That's
the actual
true.
event. So keep your eyes out for that next Monday, episode 361. But yeah, thank you for listening, of course. Also too, go check out Sidewalk. Go follow them on Twitter at Sidewalk Film, and then you can follow them on Instagram also at Sidewalk Film. They do their regular theater. They do have their showings as well. If you can make the trip and the money to go to Birmingham to go to the BoyZ, go see a movie there. They get really good showings of films that we wouldn't get at regular theaters. And of course, go check out the festival if you can. But yeah, thank you for listening. You follow the All You Can Hear podcast on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, anywhere. Go leave us a rating, review, subscribe, give us feedback. We really appreciate it. Go to our Twitter, follow us on Twitter. Sorry, AYCH Podcasts, Backlog BoyZ, Cajun Greatness, Instruction Booklet, Violent People. Go check them out. They're all great. Follow us on Blue Sky, aychpodcast.bsky.social. Follow us on Instagram at AYCH Podcast. Again, there's a highlight for Sidewalk on our profile. Go to our twitch.tv/AllYouCanHear. All of our VODs, including instruction booklets, videos, are up on our YouTube, All You Can Hear. And lastly, you can follow me, Wenzel, on Twitter at WinzyWilkie. You follow my art Instagram threads and Blue Sky as World of Winsy. Follow my Bookstagram, Wenzel Banters, and my link tree has links for everything, including my Goodreads and my Letterboxd.
Name Colt. Follow me on Twitter at ColtD00 and on Blue Sky at ColtD99. I've seen the influx of users on Blue Sky now, and it's got some decent features. It's got video incoming. It's got solo chat. I want the group chat. As soon as that group chat's in, this place is going to be popping. But fucking, let's get this bread.